Hello, everyone. Hello, Wallaby fans. My name is Wade the Wallaby. Welcome back to another stream. Now, obviously, this is obviously a very, I should say, not typical thing, as if you were going for. But listen, I had this idea for maybe, maybe since 2017 or late 2017. What is Skywolf? All right, Skywolf is actually my design of a inflatable module of all these modules that can inflate. Now, of course, there are such thing. Of course, there are others ones that are from. I forget the one that Beluga. I don't know what it was, but the company that makes these balloon things probably need to use those. But it's not just for inflatable modules. Oh, crikey! But the inflatable modules, they contain. Okay, all right, sorry. Reset. So Skywolf is a space station, and it's designed to have a gravity well, which is a wheel that is inflatable. You probably would see that in Kerbal Space Program mods, like that. If you play Kerbal and see the mod forms, like that. But for now, it's great. So Skywolf, it I have some art, some I should say some art for the it, and it's supposed to have a diesel engine. Why? Well, to power, it's going to inflate the modules. It's going to use diesel gas, which is going to be the first ever that diesel fuel is going to be in space. And it's gonna be engines. Kind of look awkward, but it's gonna be at top of the one of the modules, which is the main module. It's gonna have two docking ports and in middle section. But I don't know what the interior will look like. Um, so it'll be in separate launches, probably used by the probably maybe Falcon Heavy, or I should say, if it was NASA's job, they wouldn't not used. They would pay basically.
Hey, hey, Wade.
Sorry, I had to mute there. Obviously, we were having a private conversation. Now, the Skywolf is basically designed to have four modules. One of them is the main one, which will have the diesel engine for some reason. Second one is the wheel, and the wheel is going to actually have a permanent attachment with a module. And then another module, which is going to be inflatable again. And then, of course, there will be a node, but I don't know where. So this node is going to probably will be a node for like as progress or Cygnus or H2 Japanese cargo ship. It's gonna have the and even the well, I should say a node for well, it was used for space shuttle like yeah, basically the space shuttle used a docking port which is called the guest docking port. That was the same thing that they were going to use for the Dreamer, and they also used it as the Dragon V2 capsule or the Demo 1 test. So obviously, we're going to have to use that docking port, but, well, not from the ISS. So there's going to be a special docking port, which is basically going to be a clamp docking port. It's a big docking port. Now, this is going to be a clamp. It's going to clamp like grab the ISS. Basically, this can dock to the ISS for resupplying or other stuff, crew transfer, and it will undock and go to a normal orbit. It's going to probably go to a higher orbit than the ISS, and eventually will come down using RCS thrusters to position it. And of course, it will need some reaction wheels so it can stabilize. Obviously, you can add to it if you're interested, because obviously this is going to be like, of course, a lot of people have these ideas, and I'm just making this type of idea. So you guys can obviously will check it out yourself and maybe work together as a team. Obviously you probably are not interested in space, but obviously I am, and that's great. Skywolf is actually the original name. Now if you're thinking about the werewolf space plane, well, obviously I don't know where I'm going to launch. Of course, probably 2030 or 2040, at least 2040. Maybe. I'm not sure. But it should be at least late in time, because I've had these ideas. But the werewolf space plane is the priority. That thing has to be at least available. And the Skywolf could be used as I should say, rendezvous thing. But of course, the idea for the werewolf space plane is it's going to have the big orange tank for some reason. The orange tank is going to be basically a small orange tank, but it's going to have a lot of fuel. Technically, this is basically going to be used for temporarily for the refueling, but once there is more of them, they're going to dock. And it's kind of complicated the way I explain it. So, obviously, what about the whale space plane? Now, obviously, it has one massive engine, and obviously, I should test it out on Kerbal. But I've been playing Orbiter, so obviously Kerbal is the best because obviously you can make stuff. And yeah, so the whale, I don't talk about that much. I'm thinking it probably will be like so much scrap metal, obviously. It'd be like the most crappiest. It remind me, it has a girders or something like that. Remind me of something, but it's an unmanned vessel and has a big hangar bay. Reminds me of the XR2, not Raven Star, but the Aquarius from the Orbiter. And that thing is massive, but obviously the werewolf space plane is almost the same size if you were looking at the XR Raven Star, but just a little bit bigger. It's about at least 20 yards wide, so that's not that large. And it has to be that because obviously for, lightweightness, and also to make it money efficient, because if but the Skywolf is the same. It's a station that orbits around Earth and could be used for a waypoint. But of course, by what I said about the clamp thing, could be used for clamping onto the ISS or International Space Station to, resupply it, But there's also other things such as a breakthrough, or I should say, maybe a breakthrough. I'm not sure how I can explain it, but a achievement of having a gravity well and to demonstrate if actually this physics work. Because obviously, about the gravity wheel, I sometimes think that it doesn't want to work, because you have probably tried in Kerbal or something like that, and it kind of works. I've tried it, and I'm thinking, of course, you have Earth and, of course, Earth gravity, and you can't tell. unless if you have like a unless if you're probably an astronaut or a cosmonaut in the ISS, what if they have done this experiment, put some type of vehicle or prop onto a wheel type structure? No, and the wheel, and I'm not sure, but it's yeah, it's a wheel, and then spin it around and put the object. But the weird thing is, if it's gonna spin, um, how's the props? How are the surface once it gets started? Because once it spins, once you touch the surface, you're gonna go like this. You're gonna be like get a slip. So you might as well have to use some magnetism or something like magnetic shoes. But obviously that wouldn't make the same because if any, I mean, still, I mean, I don't think that's gonna work. I mean, it has to be kind of big to have that type of velocity, but we'll see. Obviously, hi. I mean it. I mean, yeah, of course, you could just make it into like a Citadel, like from. Even though I've never played it, I heard about it, which is called Mass Effect. The Citadel of some sort. You could possibly have like type of thing, but smaller, of course, because obviously there is no way to build that size, of course, unless if you really want to do it. But that's obviously some type of different future. That, yeah, I mean, yeah. Unless if you want to build an entire city like Chicago underground on the moon. What do you think about that? But that's why. Because you have the most amazing features on the moon, such as, of course, you've got these lava tubes, and they're huge. How do they know that? I don't know. Maybe they use them. I don't know. How do they know that? Maybe from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Well, hey, if they said, why not me? I don't know. It's like, how do you know that there's going to be some type of level of underground tunnels? Yeah. But what the Lunar or LRO, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which was launched in 2009, and it also demonstrated there's water on the moon, which means that's why we can colonize the moon and have a industrial life cycle. But the Skywolf, not too much. I mean, it's a great name and great achievement, but of course, it's just a concept. But I'm more or less paying attention, or should say, pay attention to the werewolf spaceplane concept, because this thing, I'm gonna have to make sure that it is fine, and over time, it will start to get realistic. Oh yes, and over time, we'll start to get better, and of course, Skywolf, maybe. Oh, fine. So yeah, Skywolf.
And if you still want to go back, right by the deep, it went poof. Up in the air it went, and
Yeah.
the longest part was it took about 5 minutes for me to reel it up.
So yeah, I mean, the concept obviously is not that great, but more updates to the design from me, and of course, you can possibly add it as well. But it has to be realistic because if you like Star Wars, it's not going to work. If you like Star Trek, it maybe work, but we don't have warp technology, or do we? Obviously, they've probably been testing warp technology. I guess they don't put it to the public because obviously stupid countries might use it as a weapon, and and I don't know why would you use it. It's warp technology. You can go to Pluto in like 3 days or less. I mean, come on. You can imagine just go to Pluto and Chiron and just like a Swiffer. Wow, it's just like quick as a hiccup. Wow, that's bright. Why is that?
That's funny. That's cute.
So,
Okay, wrap it up so we can go.
oh yes.
We're gonna go.
I'll see you guys
This is awesome.
in the next live stream. See ya.
I think it's a